Welcome. Chemical formulae. A chemical formula is a representation of a chemical substance using chemical symbols for each element and the proportions in which they are combined. Taking you back to Form 1, water and hydrogen, we learned that hydrogen burns in air using up oxygen to give us water. So what is the formula for water? Everyone knows that water is written as H2O. If you don't know, now you know. So how did we come up with H2O? Why not HO2 or HO? For the simple reason, there are some rules that we require to follow when writing chemical formulas. First, we write the symbols of the elements apart. And then we write the valency superscript. For example, hydrogen has a valency of 1, oxygen has a valency of 2. The next step is to cross the valencies. You drop valency 1 down to oxygen side and drop valency 2 down to hydrogen side. And we write them as subscript H2O1. The next step is to combine the two and write them close to each other. This gives us H2O1. However, we usually do not write 1. We simply just ignore and end up with our final product as H2O. The reason why we do not write the number 1 is because the letter O for oxygen already represents 1 atom of oxygen. So water is written as H2O, meaning it has 2 atoms of hydrogen combined with 1 atom of oxygen. Did you have fun? Yes, I did have fun too. Let us use another example. For example, the reaction between magnesium and chlorine. It will give us magnesium chloride. So the first step of writing magnesium chloride is we write the two symbols slightly apart. Then we write the valencies. Do you remember the valency of magnesium? It is 2. Chlorine is 1. Next step is to cross and drop the valencies. And we write them as subscript. Magnesium 1, chlorine 2. Then we write them close together. Magnesium 1, chlorine 2. Now remember, we ignore the 1 and end up with magnesium chloride. Like that. Very easy. Let us use an example with a radical. For example, we have a compound called sodium sulfate. It is the combination of sodium and a sulfate radical. The next step is to write the valencies. Sodium has a valency of 1, sulfate has a valency of 2. We cross and drop the valencies and have sodium 2, and then since the sulfate operates as 1, we have a bracket and put number 1 below. But again, we do not usually write 1 under the element because the element or radical represents 1, and hence we will ignore the 1 and even the brackets, and we'll have sodium sulfate. Again, very easy. Let's find another example. Another example is magnesium nitrate. It contains magnesium and nitrate. The valency of magnesium is 2, that of nitrate is 1. We cross and drop the valencies and we will have magnesium 1. We introduce the brackets because the nitrate is a radical. It exists and reacts as a unit. NO3, close the bracket, and we'll have 2. Since once again we do not represent 1, we ignore it and have our final formula as magnesium nitrate. Remember, once you drop the valencies, you have to write them in subscript. Let us find a last example of a gas that we produced in one of our reactions in Form 1, nitrogen 4 oxide. This Roman number 4 indicates the valency of nitrogen. If it was another element, then it will represent the valency of the element preceding the Roman number. Now, let us see nitrogen and oxygen. Oxide is from oxygen. The valency for nitrogen now is 4 because we have nitrogen 4 oxide, so it has a valency of 4. And the oxide has a valency of 2. We cross and drop and we'll have N 2 and this side O 4. When you write them close together, we'll have N2O4. However, when we meet such a scenario, we will have to use the simplest ratios for the combination of nitrogen and oxygen. In this case, we'll have to divide by 2. So we'll have nitrogen, which is 2, oxygen 4. Then we divide this by 2, divide that by 2, and we'll end up with nitrogen 1, oxygen 2. But we ignore 1, and final answer is NO3. 2. It takes some practice, but with time you're going to get the hang of it. Now, try to write the formula of the following compounds. Magnesium fluoride, also try out aluminium oxide, try out lithium nitride, also try out magnesium nitride. How about you also try out sodium nitrate and also hydrogen oxide. Also try sulfuric 6 acid. Oh, for this one you will need to refer. And finally, try out copper 1 oxide. Now, as you can see, you need to do a lot of practice. After you've finished with these, do not stop there. It takes much practice to understand chemical formulae.